Today on Community Cooking, we have guest Ann Approx back on our show making a healthy vegan menu. We're making a sweet pea puree served with rustic seeded crackers. We're cooking with some of the best chefs from right here in our own community. So grab a seat and get comfortable. We have another great meal for you. This is your Community Cooking. Hi, and welcome to Community Cooking. I'm your host, Prekeges, and I'm excited to have my friend, guest chef, and caterer, Ann Approx, back in the studio with us.
Hi, Maria.
Oh, it's always so good to have you. You're so much fun, and you always bring great recipes, usually healthy, with ingredients from the farmer's market, and they always taste so good. So, for me, it's a bonus.
Well, it has to look good and it has to taste good, right? And it should, when you eat something, it should do something good for you as well. That's why I love using farmer's market fresh produce.
I love it. And today, it's a sweet pea puree. Not a soup, a puree.
It's a puree, kind of like a spread. Think of it like hummus, but more seasonal. And with a little more vitamins, high protein, some good fiber in you, and lots of flavor.
And then the rustic crackers.
Yes, a very simple dish, which I love to make. It's very quick and easy. It gives you a chance to be more of an artist in the kitchen, plus use up some leftovers that you have in your pantry.
That's my kind of deal.
Exactly.
And they're rustic, so we don't have to make them perfect.
That's right. In fact, part of the charm is to make them a little homemade. And it's great for kids to help you with this, too. Get the kids in the kitchen, get the family in the kitchen. There's no math to it. It's just super simple.
I love it. Well, let's get started. The crackers have to bake a little, so should we start with those?
Let's start with those first.
Okay.
That would be great.
Give me your ingredients.
Okay, you got it. Well, we're going to start with flour. Now, you can use whole wheat flour. If you're gluten-free, you can use any kind of the gluten-free blends out there, coconut oil or coconut flour, etc. With this, I reserved a little extra for our cutting boards because we're going to do a little rolling with our dough.
I know she gave me my own rolling.
It's so
pin.
cute. It's
I'm
little.
so excited.
And then I add a little bit of salt to it too, which I have on the side. To that, we're going to add honey and a little bit of good quality olive oil and some clean water, which, by the way, I don't know if you know this, but if you're going to use oil in something and water, it's better to put the water in first and then the oil on top. Look how cute it is. It separates like that. And that way you get everything out at one time.
Oh, that makes sense. So you're not scraping the oil.
Exactly.
That's why you're here.
All right, to teach you the goodies. And then on top of the crackers, this is where you can get fancy or simple. It's your choice. We have right here toasted black and regular hulled sesame seeds. We have caraway seeds or fennel seeds or whatever you have. And this is za'atar, which is a wonderful Middle Eastern spice blend. Smell it. It just has this wonderful aromatic flavor. I use it to season rice, fish, chicken, whatever. But it's very simple. It has lots of different aromatic spices in it. So I thought we'd have fun today and make a couple of different kinds.
Oh, perfect.
You game?
And say the name again.
Za'atar.
Za'atar.
Z-A-A-T-A-R.
Sounds like a superhero. I like it.
It's getting more and more common, so it's kind of fun to use.
Okay, so what do we start with?
Okay, we're going to start with our dry ingredients. It's always best to add your dry ingredients together first. And then we'll probably, let me just add a little bit of pinch of salt. It calls for, I think, about a tablespoon or so.
Okay.
You got to have a little salt with your sweet, right?
Oh, always.
All right, so we're going to put it.
And you're going to pulse
I'm going to pulse it just for about just a few pulses to make sure that the salt and the flour are blended. Very good. And now I've already blended, of course, the water and the oil. To that, I'm just going to add about a tablespoon of honey.
I love that you're using honey for the sweetener.
I do too, right? It's got to have savory and sweet. And you can use raw honey. You can use clover, whatever you've got. It doesn't have to be anything special that you run out to the market to get.
Oh, okay.
This is the kind of recipe you can use with stuff that's inside of your pantry.
Now, what if your honey is a little hardened?
Well,
should you get new stuff?
You should probably get some new
Okay.
stuff, Maria. Fresh is always best.
figured.
But honey is one of those wonderful ancient things.
Yes.
They found them in the tombs back in Egyptian times. All right, so we're going to make some noise. I'm going to turn on the processor, and I'm going to add this wet to
While
dry.
it's on. Okay.
Exactly. So it's going to make a little bit of noise, but we could still talk over it. And
Well,
I'm
you
just
and
gonna
I, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we'll talk no matter what. We'll just add a little at a time, and it starts to form into a ball, which is lovely. Do you make a lot of doughs or anything?
I don't.
After all these years and all these cooking classes, I'm surprised you aren't a remarkable chef. One time I know I'm going to come back here and you are going to already have your cordon bleu
I know. I love to
certification.
cook. I love to bake. So you had everything. You mentioned the water and the oil and the honey. What if you added them separately? Does it change the texture of the dough?
No, I just think it's a lot easier and it makes for a much easier cleanup.
We love that.
I love a little easier cleanup. So this just takes a few moments, and what it does is it lets the dough form, the wet with the dry, and it just takes a couple of minutes.
Well, and my grandmother, when she used to make dough, especially for crackers and cookies, it was all by hand, so the food processor is awesome. Oh, look,
well,
we're
that's
sprinkling.
making magic. Why don't we sprinkle?
You always
we
want
go.
a little flour
Just
so
a
it doesn't
little.
stick.
And I brought one of my favorite little tools here. It's a pastry scraper, which really helps when it comes time.
Because of you, last time we were together, I bought one, and it's great because I chop a lot of veggies.
Yes.
Whoop.
Yes.
And you don't have your knife, because you know me and knives sometimes.
Yes. Well,
and it is safe.
that's great. Well, now I'm seeing that my dough is just a little bit dry, so I'm going to add just a splash more water.
And it goes for at least a minute or so.
Yeah, it comes together fairly quickly, but sometimes it just needs a little coaxing. Kind of like everything in the kitchen. Gotta
Everything
coax out,
in life.
Coax out those flavors.
Well, and it's so nice because you can get pretty healthy crackers in the store.
You sure can.
But this is nice and fun and easy. And you know exactly what's going into it.
Exactly.
Not a lot.
And especially if you have gluten-free issues,
Yeah.
you know exactly what's going in there. No preservatives, none of that other bad stuff.
And you specialize a lot in gluten-free, vegan, healthy things, and that taste good.
Yes, exactly. I do a lot of that. I find that a lot of my clients, I'm a caterer if you remember,
Yes.
a lot of my clients prefer to have the healthier diets and,
Yes.
food that they know where they came from. So many dietary issues. All right, so this is nice and sticky. I'm just going to roll a little bit. You're going to work it a little bit to get...
Work it, girl.
Work it, girl. We're just going to press it down and form a ball just to make sure everything looks nice and cohesive. And then I'm going to cut it right into half.
Yay, I get some.
You get it.
So
There we go.
that's so
Plop.
easy.
That's it.
Okay, I can do that.
And it's nice and warm,
Oh,
too,
I was like,
still.
it's warm.
Because it's been working.
Hello.
And you just roll it a little bit, press a little pressure down there, and turn it to a little ball, just a little
Be
bit.
something fun to do with children too.
Very
or
much
myself, the big kid.
And then just start working it with your little mini rolling pin.
This is awesome.
Isn't it adorable?
Not as threatening as the bigger one.
No, and it certainly has. It's such a small piece, which I like about this recipe is you make two separate balls anyway, so you can work them separately so they don't dry out. Now, if you were doing this by yourself, you'd want to wrap it up in like a moist paper, a moist tea towel or some plastic wrap or something.
To save it.
Yeah, just so it doesn't dry out, because you can see it's a really nice dough. It works.
It is. And so, I mean, not a lot of ingredients. Like I said, you know what's in here.
Exactly. So you're going to roll it out to about an eighth or so. If you want them thicker, you can do whatever you want. I mean, this is your kitchen. It's your recipe. I've given it to you. You can make it as thick or thin as you want. And I love having the raw edges. Now, if you were going to do this,
Because mine are not perfect.
I love that they're not perfect. If you wanted to make this very uniform, you just take your a sharp knife, cutting shears, or in this case, a little pastry dough cutter, and you can make really rigid edges. But I love the rustic look of this.
Me too, because then you don't have to worry.
That's right. So I'm just going to loosen it a tiny bit because I am going to start my
Mine's about there.
Yeah, so there we go. Look at how pretty that dough is. All right. So with that, I'm going to brush on a little bit of water.
Oh, no oil.
So I'm working
just
a little.
water.
Yeah, just water. I guess you could add oil. I've never added oil. Again, because that adds fat and that adds more
like it healthy.
calories. Exactly.
God, it even smells good from here.
It does. It's so simple. All right, beautiful.
A little water.
A little water. And then you choose whatever you want. You can use savory, you can use sweet. You could even use this with a little cinnamon.
Oh.
And nutmeg. Grate some fresh nutmeg on there. I'm going to use these wonderful seeds. That's got that sweetness, that fennel. And I'm going to add a little some toasted sesames in it. And just a pinch of some salt.
I'm using the green.
Yes, I thought we would do one of each. The za'atar.
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 And I'm going to press in the seeds.
So with the
add a little pepper,
za'atar,
too.
would I do salt and pepper?
You certainly could. Sometimes I'll use that wonderful flaky sea salt.
Oh yeah. You know what? It weirdly has a scent of, because I always go back to my Greek roots.
Yes.
Almost a very mild oregano.
Yes, it has oregano in it. It has thyme.
there
It's
you
got
go.
lots of wonderful Mediterranean blends of aromatics, as I like to call them.
Okay.
Oh, I'm going to add just some more sesame seeds. Why not?
I'm just making it
Go
super
make
green.
it crazy.
I'm making it very
Make
green.
it crazy, and you can add anything else. You can add pepper, salt. Yum. And then I'm going to use, these are my family's.
Oh, okay. My mother used to have one of those.
Nostalgic, our old-fashioned ravioli wheels, which
I love it.
This makes
Press it
such a
in.
fun shape. And then you can do however sizes you like. I just like kind of doing mix and match so that they.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that fun?
We're dating ourselves.
Uh-huh. La la la
29
la, la, la,
again,
la.
always.
All right, and while you press yours in, I'm going to start putting my crackers on here. And
Just
I'm
any
gonna,
which way.
Yeah.
I want to make sure
Yes, you definitely want to press it in.
my not tar.
Za'atar. And maybe I'll just pick, since this is such a tiny sheet, I'll just
So
pick a few of
question,
the bigger
if
ones.
I have a bigger baking sheet
Yes.
and I don't cut it, can I bake it like this and crack it after?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I would leave it not quite, I would make it a little bit thicker. And
Okay.
leave it in the oven just a little bit longer. And what's nice about this recipe is it only takes about 15 to 18 minutes, depending on how thick they are.
Oh,
And then
nice.
when you pull them out, they'll keep cooking and crispening up.
I'm like,
So,
which way do I go next?
I know. Go crazy. This is your community cooking.
It is all of our community cooking. I love it.
All right. So that's
All right.
fun.
Mine are every which way.
And that's great. It's cooking is an art, and it should be something that is an expression of your own
Let's see
artistry.
if I got it through the whole way here.
And I'm just going to put a few, because I chose a little bit smaller baking sheet so we can get them
Yep.
both in the oven here. And they
Perfect.
don't all
And the
have
oven
to
has
fit.
been preheating to
375, so it should get
375.
this. All right, so if you wouldn't mind throwing that into the
Okay.
oven, I'm going to use my little
tool.
my baker's.
I'm going to put these in the oven while you get mine on the baking sheet. They smell so great already. And when we come back, sweet pea puree. We're going to experiment a little.
Yes, we are.
I love it. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Community Cooking. Welcome back to Community Cooking. If you're just joining us, I'm your host, Maria Prekeges, with guest chef and caterer and friend, Ann Apra.
Hello again.
Hello again. So we just did some fabulous rustic crackers that are in the oven baking away.
Yep.
We're moving on to sweet pea puree. I just like to say that. Sweet pea puree.
Sweet pea puree. Yes, it is a different change or a twist on hummus.
I love it. So first, just tell me your ingredients.
You got it. So these are sweet peas, which you can shell if you have the time and inclination to. Many people don't. And also for seasonal wise, if it's not in season, just get the fresh because they're usually picked, or excuse me, frozen. Because frozen peas are usually picked at their height of freshness in the season that they're growing in. And they're flash frozen. So these are sweet baby peas that have been steamed for 1.5 minutes. No longer than 2 minutes, otherwise they get mushy. And no one wants a mushy pea.
And then after you steam them for less than 2 minutes, 1.5, do you throw them in a ice bath?
Yes, definitely. You throw some cold water on them immediately to let them stop cooking. And then I usually have a little ice bath with some ice and some water in a little bowl. And I just let them rest there for a few minutes while I do other things. Drain them, and then you're good to go. That way it also brings down the temperature so that when we make our puree, it'll be already cool.
Okay.
The other items we're going to add is some lemon zest and lemon juice from a fresh lemon. I have some sweet pea tendrils for garnish at the very end, which you can grab a little bite if you want.
I was going to say.
They're very tasty. Again, farmer's market fresh.
Oh, those are good.
Just like that. And whatever's left over, you throw them in a salad.
Tendrils.
Exactly. I have some endive here for a little bit later if we decide to not have the gluten in our crackers. This is our gluten-free vegan option, is we'll put our vegan hummus onto some beautiful endive, again, farmer's market fresh. And to the puree, we're going to add tahini, which is basically, you can make your own. It's just unhulled toasted sesame seeds, a little bit of salt, and some oil. And about 2 minutes or 3 minutes or 4 minutes whirring. And again, we don't have the time for that. So you can buy it pre-made, and you can find it in a lot of ethnic shelves in your regular grocery market.
Okay.
And in this, I'm going to add some cumin. Now, if you don't want to use cumin, you can use fresh cilantro if it's seasonal, which is wonderful. The more fresh seasonal items, the better. And we're also going to add cumin. Yes, it's delish, and it's great. You can in a lot of things, so a little goes a long way. If you don't have cumin, maybe you don't care for the taste of cumin. A lot of people don't like it. They would prefer to use a different flavor. You can use some pink sea salt. You can use whatever, you know. Again, it's your kitchen. It's your recipe now. I gave it to you. In addition to that, we're going to add some fresh mint. And again, beautiful and seasonal.
Oh, it smells so good too.
It sure does. So let's get started with the puree. So we're going to add our steamed peas to our processor. I'm going to add some zest and lemon juice. Now, you know how we do this little trick. You push it first.
You got to give it.
Exactly. You got to give it some elbow grease. And just on top of this, I'm just going to zest from an entire lemon. And the equivalent of about a half or so juice from one regular size lemon.
Well, and the great thing about using the zest and the juice, you just have one lemon, you use it all up.
That's right. And whatever you have left over, you can use it for garnish or what have you. And since I don't have any terrible paper cuts, I'm just going to go ahead and squeeze it right through my fingers.
And that's her little trick, right through the fingers.
That's right, in case there's seeds. Oh, there, I caught one right there.
I got a new lemon juicer the other day.
Oh, tell me about it.
I use lemon for everything.
I do too.
I swear I need 4 ingredients in the kitchen, but it's good to have you here because you always introduce me to new ingredients and spices that are used together.
Like the za'atar. Oh yeah, sorry to scare you.
That's how you do a garlic clove.
Yeah, you just smash it up, and it makes it a little bit easier to crush it a little bit.
Yeah.
And we're gonna throw it in the puree anyway, so it's just nice to get a little heads up on it.
Okay.
Because a lot of times I'd rather have a little bit of texture in my puree. In fact, I think now that I mention it, I'm gonna pull a few peas out of here at the very end. I like to add it in just to give a little bit more texture.
Oh, okay.
So I'm glad I reminded myself.
I love it.
I love it. So we're going to add some tahini to our puree mix, which again is just beautiful toasted sesame seeds. You could even make it with black sesame seeds, but that would be very colorful.
Yeah, we used a lot of sesame seeds growing up. We toasted them ourselves.
Yeah.
Don't forget about them in the oven.
No.
I've burned many.
Oh. You know, some of the better ways to do it, I find, is to do them right on top.
So then you don't forget about them right on the stove.
And you just have to roll them around. And I think that's the easiest way because you can't walk away if you do.
See, yeah, when you...
Let's see how I do if I am able to get it still one
Okay.
time. All right, here we go. Gonna make a little noise. If your peas are not as juicy, you can add a little bit of the reserved liquid from the steaming.
So stay a couple tablespoons of the liquid that you steamed them in.
Yes, but these are nice and juicy. All right, so we're just gonna take a look at it. It comes together beautifully. I'm going to add just a pinch of salt.
Everyone needs a pinch of salt.
Just a pinch, maybe 2 pinches of salt, and I'm going to add some fresh cracked pepper. I love fresh cracked pepper. You can use regular pepper, but I just think it's just so aromatic.
Yeah.
And aromatic is one of our words of the day.
We love it when you're here.
Should I add some more lemon juice just because?
Yeah,
I know you love lemon.
I know I'm a lemon woman.
Why not? It's the juice of one lemon. And no seed in that one. Yay, bonus.
Yeah,
and at this point, I'm going to add in those reserved peas just to add a tiny bit of texture at the end because I'm just barely going to pulse it. I like a lot of texture in my hummus or in my puree for this particular dish. But if you don't like a lot of texture, then just keep blending away, and you don't have to add the peas. Again, it's your kitchen.
It's kind of like when you're making mashed potatoes.
Yes.
Some people like them with a little texture. Others will whip them.
Exactly.
So up to you.
Or they like a little skin on them.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to take this cute little bowl here.
I know, and presentation with you, we mentioned earlier, Anne is a caterer as well, and you have a lot of clients that really want to eat healthy.
Yes, they really do. And I find that the more attention you pay to your health, the better you feel, and the more fun you're going to have in the kitchen, and you're going to want to bring people together and share your goodies. Look at that.
That's
yummy.
Beautiful. And the beef,
nice
I'm going to take a little peek at our crackers.
Oh, great. They're about ready, I bet.
Oh, they are getting there. They're puffing up, but they don't spread out.
Good. Yes, that's what's nice about this recipe. It doesn't have a lot of spreadability, if you will.
So because we smushed them all together.
We sure did. Now I'm going to add a little bit of fresh mint. Now, again, if you don't like a lot of texture, you can throw a few pieces in while you puree it.
Okay, throw the mint in there.
Exactly. But I find that they get a little mushy, so I like to just hand cut them. Would you like to do some cutting?
No, I'm just tasting the mint.
So this is just a few leaves, and I'm just going to roll them up. Oh, thank you. And we'll just do like a little chiffonade. So just making thin.
It's one of my favorite words from you,
chiffonade. Yes, we've chiffonaded before, haven't we? We've chiffonaded bells.
Well, and you're so busy with catering. We appreciate you taking time out to come in because it's always so much fun.
I love coming here, and I love sharing these new wonderful recipes with you and our friends. So I'm just going to add a nice little sprinkle, and I'll save a little bit for afterwards for when we garnish our crackers and perhaps our endive, which we can do one right now if we have time.
I think we do. Let's see how you do it with the endive.
Okay, so I just take off the bottom of the endive.
Okay.
See, and so they're nice and small, so they're one bite.
Oh, see, and when you go places or you're entertaining, 2 bites of things like this don't work for me.
No, yeah.
They just don't work for me.
Well, and if I do a lot of cocktail parties and receptions, and they just want the one bite wonder. They want to just do this, and they want to walk away.
Be done.
So I made these small. Now, for presentation-wise, if you were having some friends over, you could just put something like this together and make it like a crudité so that they can dip it into themselves. But another option is you can do what they call a quenelle. And you take a spoon and
quenelle.
A
These
quenelle.
words you're giving me. That one is new.
So it won't be a true quenelle, but you just use this and you make a little, it's like a football shape.
Yeah.
Plop it in there. Put on a little extra mint.
I like the quenelle.
There you go.
All right. Well, this is a great time to take a quick break. Our rustic crackers are almost done. We'll get those out of the oven, plate everything up, and of course, one of my favorite parts, the taste testing. So don't go anywhere. You're watching Community Cooking. Welcome back to Community Cooking. My friend and guest chef Ann Appra has just shown all of us a great sweet pea puree with our rustic crackers. Just came out of the oven. They smell so good.
Yes, I know. Let's go.
I was going to say,
let's
now
dig in.
I can't remember whose is whose.
Let's see.
I
I did these, and you did the za'atar.
The za'atar. How can I forget?
That's right. So I'm just going to add a few of these. It's going to have a little bit of puree on top, but you know, you can also just have it like this as a side dish.
And have people just dip, as long as you don't double dip, people.
Please don't double dip.
Don't double dip.
That's just tacky.
I love it. Well, and again, you're such a busy caterer. We appreciate you making time.
My pleasure. So I like to also add to this, by the way, just a little cracked pepper. So I'm going to do us a little tasty. I'll do one of yours and one of mine. And we'll do both the gluten-free and we'll do our wonderful.
I love the gluten-free is on the endive. I think I'm going to start with that. The One Bite Wonder.
Okay, here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All
We
right.
took the nice tiny one. Now you can also add pea tendrils like we had out there before for garnish, but it's got a lot of flavor, right?
The flavor is amazing. The lemon zest and the lemon, but the peas, you can get your kids to eat peas, people.
And they can help make it, and they can also help shuck them. All right, so you want to try your za'atar?
I'm going to try my za'atar.
I'm going to try my cracker.
The different spices on top. And you can't taste the honey, but it just, I know it's in there adding.
Yes, it just adds a little bit of texture, a little smoothness.
Oh, my word. This would be my meal.
It's yummy. Well,
I know it's an appetizer, but this would be almost my meal. These are so great.
and it's good with crudité.
I love having you on the show.
Thank
Everything
you.
is so great and healthy. Thank you so much.
You're very
for
welcome.
being here again. And on behalf of the entire crew, myself and my friend guest chef Ann Appra, thanks for watching. We really do have some of the best chefs right here in our own community. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time on Community Cooking.
All right, now I have to try one of these. Cheers.
Oh my gosh, this is so good.
If you'd like a copy of the recipes seen on this show, send us a self-addressed stamped envelope to the Office of Cable and Community Relations. That's 3350 Civic Center Drive, Suite 200, in Torrance, California, 90503. Be sure to note the show number displayed on the screen. And don't forget, you can find all the fresh ingredients used on today's show at the Farmers Market. Visit the one here in Torrance at Wilson Park. That's located at 2200 Crenshaw Boulevard. They're open every Tuesday and Saturday from 8 a.m. until 1 p.m., rain or shine. And if you'd like to be a guest on our show, email us at communitycooking@torranceca.gov and check us out online at youtube.com/TorranceCityCable and like us on Facebook at Community Cooking TV.